Alright, hi guys, welcome back to Switch Up. Today we are going to look at some hidden gems for you.
Absolutely, so we've got 10 games, 5 games each that we think need a bit more coverage on the Switch.
Let's jump into the list. First up then, we've got a really cheaply priced little title called Squid Licks. Now this looks very much like an old school Game Boy game. You can remove the little, it has, what would you call it?
It has a border, doesn't it, that
yeah.
you know, reminds you of the Game Boy, but you can take that off.
Yeah, you can take that away if you don't like it. You control a small Squid Lick character who is squid-like. And you go on an adventure. It's got a very familiar chiptune soundtrack that kind of instantly gets addictive, doesn't it? It's a lovely little game, really cheaply priced, about £3 or £4, and probably one you've never heard of, so potentially go and check that one out.
Right, my first pick then is a game called Flippin' Death, which is from the same people that brought us Stick It to the Man. What I like about this game is that you are a character that has recently deceased, and you have to try and...
It's a bit morbid, isn't it?
It is a little bit morbid, to be fair. But having said that, the humour's fantastic.
Right.
It plays it very well. But you possess the living to get them to do your bidding for you,
nice.
and to solve environmental puzzles to move on. And the whole point is that you're trying to help other people that are deceased to pass over and resolve any business they may have left to do. It's just a very funny game. It controls well, and it has a very interesting premise.
Possess and control the living to help the ghosts with their problems.
Got any super glue?
Curse that Dr. Laser!
Yeah, baby! He wasn't even a good kisser.
Why am I doing this?
I always assumed dying would be the last thing I ever did, but well...
Interestingly, that is the exact plot of Oninaki.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose it is now you say it, yeah.
Square Enix.
Yeah.
The next one I want to talk about is one that came from a brilliant studio, but again, it potentially went a little bit under a lot of people's radar, and it's called The Tourist.
Okay, yeah.
Now, it's essentially a top-down tourist simulator, but it reminded me a lot of the game, the Little Big Adventure titles from way back in the day, in that the world is strange. It has a strangeness to it. I always call it an otherness, which is like an art term, but there are little random missions that you undertake. Nothing's quite tied together, but that doesn't detract from how enjoyable the experience is.
I mean, it's one of the few games that has that voxel look that I thought actually works very well.
Yeah. And
it also had the arcade section, didn't it? And it had like an F-Zero game that you could play in there. Very cool, yeah, very good. Right, next game is a game called Bomber Crew. Now, this has quite a high level of entry in terms of its difficulty. It takes some getting used to. The basic idea is set in World War II, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And you are obviously on a bomber aeroplane, and you are the crew. You control the whole crew, and you have to move them about in order to fulfill missions.
Okay.
So it may be dropping bombs on a target, maybe reconnaissance and taking pictures. And you control every member, and you have to get them to move about. You'll be under attack, and you have to get someone to go up and fire back and what have you.
Nice.
It's a very good game, but you'll be so overwhelmed at first because there's so much to take in. And if you can get past the first few missions, you earn money, you got upgrade things, you know the drill. You'll really enjoy it, I think.
Nice.
Very good game, yeah.
Gosh darn plane. We got new liveries, new flaming engines, and eagles. We got eagles. Brave American eagles. Now you've got all this too, in the U.S. Army Air Forces DLC. Can I get more flames, please?
Okay, the next one is NeoCab. Now, they released this cross-platform, so it was on most systems. It's a little bit like a graphic novel based inside a taxi in the future. That sounds really strange, doesn't it? But it's got a lovely art style. The music is brilliant. Unfortunately, when it launched on Switch, I found a bug that maybe other people didn't find, but it was game breaking.
Oh,
They've patched it all up, and they did that really nice and quickly. But you essentially have different passengers in your car, and you have to keep them happy, and they give you a score at the end of the journey, like you have with Uber and things like that. but the storyline is kind of interwoven between the different people you pick up, and you gradually start to pick up on trends that link the different people together.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's really nicely done, and a bit of a detective game as well.
Okay, my next pick then is a game called Sine Mora Ex, which is a shoot 'em up. It came out quite early on actually in the Switch's life, very early on in fact. There are so many good shooters on the Switch. This one may well have been forgotten by now. What I liked about this one is that the gameplay mechanic was that every time you killed an enemy, you earned more time.
Oh, nice.
And then you could use the time to slow things down to make things easier for yourself. And I just liked that risk reward of killing enemies to then potentially make it easier for you later on.
That's cool.
It has a physical release as well, and is pretty cheap now. You can pick it up over here for about £10. If you've not heard of it, have a look. We haven't got a review for this one, but have a look, see if you can find it for cheap, and definitely check it out. It's very good.
And every life has a simple goal: to survive.
Then we've got Return of the Obra Dinn, which is a murder mystery on board a ship. You're brought in by an insurance company to solve exactly who done it.
Right, okay.
You know, it's a classic who done it adventure. What's really nice is that each of the levels, as it were, plays out as a memory, and you can freeze frame and then go and look and try and work out the different details. What's brilliant is that it's tiny little things that you have to genuinely notice as a player. So you might see someone shooting, but then when you go into the distance, you'll be able to look into the wall and see something interesting that perhaps you hadn't noticed. Yeah. So oftentimes it's not as
cut and dry.
Yeah, it's not as cut and dry as it first appears.
Come on before she kicks off.
Here, let me help you.
What madness is this?
Okay, next one then is a game called Hammerwatch, which I reviewed donkeys years ago now, a long time ago. This is it's almost like Gauntlet. You know, you have to run through the stages, through the dungeons, going down the floors as you go, killing enemies, collecting loot, all those standard tropes. But instead of leveling up as such, you can then buy upgrades from shady characters that you come across as you go. So it is a roguelike game. I know some people don't like that. It has pixel art. I know some people don't like that as well. But it's done very, very well, and it's very cheap as well. I think it's about £9.
Decent.
Yeah, it's worth picking up. We have different character classes as well.
Yeah, and multiplayer as well.
And multiplayer, yeah. Good game.
My last one there is called Megaquarium. Now we're getting into a season where we're starting to see some really nice strategy simulations on the Switch. We've got 2 Point Hospital that's just about to drop. My goodness, the theme hospital vibes are real there. We'll have a review of that one up. But this was really similar to those games, but also really nicely done. There's a ton of different aquariums that you can build. It's very much in the old school format where you get gifted an aquarium. You have to gradually build that up, and then you get to advance when you've achieved enough money, essentially.
Yeah, I think what I liked about this one is it could have been the very epitome of a mobile game, couldn't it?
Definitely.
And it's not, is it?
No.
It's a very good game, well worth checking out, yeah. Okay, my last one then, a game that I picked up recently, I've mentioned in a couple of videos actually since, is Risk of Rain. Bloody hell, this game's amazing. This game is so good. So again, it's a roguelike, and again it has pixel art, but what I like about this game is you become incredibly strong very quick. So it's like the Binding of Isaac, you know, that general thing of having to defeat a level, beat a boss, move on. But you become very strong very quickly. You find a lot of money, you can buy upgrades as you go, but you always find something that's stronger than you. And you die and you have to start again. But I have once, I got to the final, I say final boss, I got a feeling there's going to be a twist, but I got there, got killed, wasn't frustrated at all, I just wanted to start again, wanted to try again, you know.
Man, that's what you need.
Multiplayer, online multiplayer I believe as well.
Yeah,
cracking game, very good game.
A big thanks for watching our lists. We love making them, don't we? And it's been so much, like, you see it a lot, but we say it a lot. There's so much positivity in our comments. Like, it's very unusual, isn't it, to have this many people that are like being all right to each other. It's great. It's what we want, really.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, thanks to our patrons as well.
Yeah, any games that you would recommend as hidden gems? I know that term gets overused a lot, but I think the 10 here would genuinely fall under that category. Stick them in there and let us know about them, please do.
For all things Switch, all the time, keep it Switch up.
Nice one.
See ya! Huh? What?
T-shirt's looking lovely, look at that.
T-shirt?
You know what they are, don't you?
What's that one then?
It's the mummy.
For goodness sakes. Goodness sakes. We need to start putting a bit of budget aside for wardrobe.
Wardrobe budget,
Yeah? Hang on.
Oh, hello. We'll see, it's the reveal. He's only got a bloody T-shirt on, look at that. Great, you got the Dulux dog on your T-shirt.
Bevan was like, why has it got a dog? What is that? It says Koei Tecmo down there, so, you know, Nathan over at Koei Tecmo. Nice one, mate.
I like it.
Thanks very much.
Very good.
There you go, contrast. There you go. I'm wearing a dog shirt.
Exactly.